So, what did you look like in 1950?
This is a picture of me in dress blues right here. And this is a picture taken on the set. In the movie, we were the Mud Marines. And we weren't allowed to, we had to wear the same fatigues every day. And we were not allowed to shave during the whole time we were on the set.
So, didn't you get in trouble with the Marine Corps by not shaving there?
Yeah, in fact, when you're in the Marine Corps, if you get out the main gate, you get inspected. We had to carry these little cards indicating that we were assigned to RKO for the duration of the filming of the movie Flying Netherlands. That's the only way we could get off the base without being clean shaven.
Well, that was a kind of a blessing.
Yes.
Now, what about the Mud Marines? Who were the Mud Marines?
The Mud Marines were, like I said, we were the last 12 people left that hadn't been shipped out. Every day they would come in, ship people to different bases, Bremerton, Washington, Naval Yard, different places. Some of them went to Korea. And when it got down to, we were the last 12, and that's how we got caught up in. The Marine Corps was willing to furnish the studio with anything they wanted as far as extras, equipment, or anything to that effect.
What's that other picture there beneath?
The other picture is a picture taken on the set, and you can see the palm trees and some of the actors that were playing the roles of pilots in the movie. This is a Japanese tank, and this here is a pagoda they built to, like the one they actually had on Henderson Field in Guadalcanal in 1942. And again, this one is just a scene with J.C. Flippin, one of the character actors in the movie, taking on the set. And here he is on another picture where sitting in front of a large hangar. On days when it wasn't enough light out, they would go inside the hangar and do scenes, indoor scenes inside the hangar.
And what was J.C. like?
J.C. was a real nice guy. He was a comedian and very approachable, and he was a very, very nice guy.
What's that?
This is a picture, the first scene where this is a picture of the plane coming in. After the plane comes in, they had a Marine pilot. They took out the seat. John Wayne, and he sat in the back, and John Wayne sat on his lap and taxied the plane up and stopped, and J.C. Flippin came out to greet him. And of course, the pilot was sitting in the back. You couldn't see him.
Did it surprise you when?
Well, that was the first time I laid eyes on John Wayne. That was the first scene they shot in the movie, and that was the first time I saw him.
What'd you think when you saw him?
Thought, man, he looks just like, he's a big guy. He's about 6'4", 6'5", and he's as big as he is as big as he looked in the movies.
Do you remember seeing him when you were a kid?
Yeah, I saw him as a child, but of course he was always in a cowboy movie. This is the first time I'd seen him in the military, although 1949 he did a movie called Sands of Iwo Jima, and I was in the Marine Band, and we played at the premiere of the movie at the Hippodrome Theater in Baltimore, Maryland, 1949, when they premiered the movie in Baltimore at the Hippodrome in 1949 instead of a Marine. We had one scene in the movie that we did on a Sunday, and it was just, the scenario was the Japanese were bombing. One of the bombs left a large crater, and it was also raining. They put up towers and ran water pipes across, so when they were ready to shoot the scene, they would turn the water on. And this movie required John Wayne to run and do a backflip into one of these craters, which was full of mud and water. And John did the scene, and he did it in one take. He ran, he did a backflip into the mud and the water, And when they hollered cut, he got up and started brushing off the mud, and he says, I earned my $30,000 today. This gentleman here is a guy named Michael Devereaux. He was one of the pilots in the movie, and he's also the one who gave me a copy of the script, the daily script. Each day, each morning, this script is dated 11/22/1950, and each morning they would come out with a revised script, which they'd worked on the night before, and they would pass them out to all the actors. We could not have speaking parts. The Marines couldn't because we weren't members of the Union. And so they would come out with the script every morning. These guys would kind of memorize what they would set up to explain the scene and everything, and they were supposed to return the script back to the writers at the end of that day, but I got Michael Devereaux as a souvenir to give me a copy of the script for that particular day. That's Michael Devereaux there.
Major, does a good pilot get so scared he breaks out in a sweat on a mission? His mouth gets so dry he can't...
Every one of them.
You?
Second I push that throttle forward. And any time you meet a guy who says he doesn't, avoid him. He's an idiot. See ya, Ernie.
You got yourself a wingman, Major. Thanks.
This is the best scene that I had in the movie. It was a close-up with me being in the center here, where we hear planes overhead, we're in the jungle, and one of the actors says to the other, is it one of ours, as he looks up to the sky. And they zoomed in and did a beautiful close-up, but unfortunately it ended up on the cutting room floor. This picture here is another picture of one of the battle scenes in the movie. And here we have a picture of John Wayne taking a break, having a smoke, talking to some of the people on the set. And this picture here was taken by the studio. I'm in the center here with John Wayne and another Marine over to the right. The purpose of this picture, the studio took a picture of each one of us 12 Marines that were involved in this to send back home to your home newspaper as a publicity thing. Also now, this picture here is John Wayne and myself taken again during one of the down times when we were just standing around doing nothing. And that's blown up from a very small snapshot that I had taken with him. Now this is a picture with me and 4 other guys. I'm to the right. This is Robert Ryan in the center, and that's me to the right, and that's 3 of the other guys with it. And we were not supposed to be paid for this movie, but he gave me at the end of every day, he gave me enough money, $5 for each man, which I distributed to each guy, which we weren't supposed to get, but he said, no, you guys working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, I want you to have it. And he gave us $5 a day. So here I have a letter. After I got out of the Marine Corps, about a year later, I wrote a letter to Nick Ray asking whether or not me and a couple of my buddies could get jobs as extras in Hollywood. And this is the letter that I got back from him stating that it was overcrowded and it was a union deal and they were making fewer pictures than ever at that particular time. And so he says, as you requested, I'm enclosing the picture you sent to me. It sounds a little bit silly to be discouraging and congratulate you upon becoming a civilian again, but that's the way it is, and I would be doing you a disservice were I to tell you otherwise. Signed, Nick Ray.
What are some of your other impressions about John Wayne?
John Wayne was the only person that I ever met that when he walked up, it was electrifying. Everybody stopped. I don't know what it was. It was something about his personality, that he was exactly in person, the way you see him, that's what you get.
Thanks for tuning back in. That was a portion of a documentary by Bill Atkins in an interview when he appeared with John Wayne in making the film Flying Leathernecks. So Bill, it was great. What an experience you had. And of course, the idea of following through with this, and you actually appearing in California with Jake Thorne is tremendous. How do you have all the time?
Well, I make time because it's that important to me to keep the legend of John Wayne alive.
That's good.
It's that important.
Well, a lot of people agree with you, and
a lot of the young people aren't familiar with John Wayne, and that's what I'm trying to do, make them aware of what a great American he was.
Well, sure had the history of that.
Absolutely.
You know, Bill, you have your museum. Where's the location in Bowie?
I'm located in the Hilltop Shopping Center in Bowie, Maryland, at the intersection of Racetrack Road and Annapolis Road. Now, I don't have any definite hours because I also have a real estate business there, and I'm in and out a lot. But if you see my car backed in, that's a signal that I'm there. So you're welcome to come in. No charge for anything.
That's great, Bill, and it's right across the driveway through there of the Outback, present Outback.
Right, in between the Outback Steakhouse and the 7-Eleven, there's a driveway, and I'm right behind the 7-Eleven. I have 2 parking spaces.
And if one of them's occupied, the museum's open.
Yes.
That's fantastic, Bill. I think this experience you not only shared with us from your visit to California, but the fact you got Jake Thorne, who is a definite John Wayne, not only John Wayne look-alike, but talk-alike. He walks like him.
Absolutely.
And of course, it was fantastic for you to get him and take the time to come to Bowie, Maryland, and meet up with you before you went to California. So you plan to make that an annual event to trip?
Absolutely. Last year, he was a big hit. He performed his 3-act play in a theater out there, and it was a sellout. And this year we did an outdoor show, and that was a tremendous hit. So I'm sure next year we'll be invited to come back again.
Well, we're going to do some follow-up too, Bill, and actually on a future program, I hope you can get back and we can actually show some footage of what you did out there, some tape. Didn't you do some filming?
Yes, it was all filmed, and when I get it, I'll be glad to have you look at it.
Let's plan on doing that, Bill, and it's been a pleasure to have you here again.
Thank you.
Give Jake Thorne my regards, our John Wayne look-alike.
Thank you very much.
And anytime he comes to Bowie to visit you or any other reason, I understand he has family in Bowie.
Okay.
And get him by to see us.
Glad to be here.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for tuning in. Bowie News and Views.